everyone, and welcome back to the Promotion on a Budget podcast. And do you know what? It's been a nice, warm day, and it seems like we're getting back to that old weather that we're used to. Just like the old Reading that we're used to, Josh? Losing to Wycombe Wanderers last night, 1-0. Josh, although you lost last night, Reading, it's been a good season.
By the accord of the last few years, yeah, it's been a good season. But I'll touch on your little dig at me first. That's the first time that Reading have lost to Wycombe in league competition since October 1999.
But I can't imagine that Wycombe and Reading play in the same league that often, to be honest.
But here's your difference. Wycombe, as far as this, we're not talking in terms of the scale of the kind of the Merseyside derby, the Manchester derby. This is the closest game that we have had in league competition in a very, very long time. The Wycombe obviously being just across the border in Buckinghamshire, us Reading, kind of obviously two quite small clubs sitting in us being in Berkshire. It's not the kind of game that any club wants to go out and perform the way that we did. It was shocking, but that's one game. I'm not going to just highlight on the one game. I want to talk about the fact that, yes, Reading are in a dip of form. It's not the first time we've seen a dip of form. And quite frankly, I do actually think that it doesn't help. Again, we're having some key names out injured, and there weren't the correct reinforcements brought in the January transfer window.
I guess that's been an issue. I mean, you've brought it up with me personally multiple times, especially at the start of the season. Is that you aren't the richest club in the world. You aren't going to be competing with the big dogs of the championships in terms of the transfer window. But overall, you do have already a good bulk of the squad there. A very good backbone. I mean, if we look at I guess the key player for you this season, stats-wise, is going to be Lucas João. Obviously, he's hit that 20.
See, I disagree.
You say Michael Elise, but I do want to talk about Lucas João.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you talk.
I think with Lucas João, we know there's a striker in there. We know there's a very, very good championship level striker. But before this season, he hadn't really hit that sort of that benchmark that I think people kind of expected of him and expected of the quality of him. And this season, we're seeing this with Reading, aren't we? I think he's hit that 20-goal season mark, and he's absolutely flying, isn't he?
I wouldn't say he's flying as such anymore. He's had a period where he was flying, but the fact of the matter is, and this is me being really critical, but I'm still in that critical state having watched the drizzery that was on my television last night. He's missed 3 of his last 4 penalties. His attitude off the ball is much to be improved. There are plenty of times where Reading fans have pointed out his movement off the ball hasn't been quite what you'd want from a striker or quite what we've seen from strikers of the past. There is the debate that he is probably one of the strikers of the 21st century for the club, which I would argue, yeah, fair enough. If he's putting out the numbers he is, brilliant. He's got so much room for improvement, and that's the frustrating thing with Lucas João.
Would you say Lucas João could then potentially be a Premier League quality striker if he does work on those improvements, like you say, his attitude mainly, if he gets that sort of head down and start working for the team a bit more? Would you say that there's a very, very good striker in there?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I know for a fact, I mean, I listened to the BBC Berkshire podcast, obviously the local radio station to the club, did an interview with Liam Moore very recently, and he gave a brilliant insight into the club. And he actually highlighted that Lucas João is probably one of the best strikers he's played with in his career, for the fact that the guy has pace. Okay, not the kind of pace you'd expect from a winger that we've seen over times gone by. He's strong, he's tall, he's physical, he can hold the ball up, but he can also get in behind. We've seen how good his footwork is. I mean, his assist into Michael Morrison against Bristol City recently, his footwork before his goal against Bournemouth in the home fixture this year. He's proven that he is a good enough striker. He's got little bits that he can iron out. And with the right quality around him, I have no doubt that he could definitely perform in kind of the mid to bottom half of the Premier League, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. He is obviously a quality striker. There's another player that I stood out, and I think this is the one that you were hoping that I was going to mention, is Michael Elise.
No, not the one I was going to mention either.
Omar Richards, Ovie Ejaria, what one?
Josh
Lauren, here we go.
No, not even Josh
Tom
Lauren.
McIntyre?
the backbone of the team this year so far, Michael Morrison.
Michael Morrison, there we go.
Realistically, we signed the guy on a free from Birmingham City. Liam Moore, having been out this most of this season with an injury, he stepped in. He's taken the armband. Obviously, this, I believe, is his second season at the club. And you can tell how much of a seasoned veteran the guy is. He has been so good in our defence. But it's a defence that still concedes. It's really like, that's the thing with Reading. The inconsistency is what is absolutely killing any chance that people thought of a playoff or promotion charge. Since that first 8 games where we went on some phenomenal run, no one knows where that came from. We've won 8 games since that point. I believe we won 3 of our last 10. That's not even top half form, let alone for the fact that somehow, by some freak of nature, we're still sat in 5th place in the league. As far as I'm concerned, and I so wish that my words will come back to bite me on this, I believe last night's game was the end of our promotion hopes.
Wow.
I hold that as a very firm belief. The way that I saw us play last night, at periods, we were dreadful against a team who finished 9th in League One last year and got promoted. Okay, got into the playoffs on a technicality and then got promoted through, I believe, 2 1-0 wins or 2 wins by a 1-goal margin. As far as I'm concerned, playoffs out the window. We need to look at next season at what we can do to keep hold of the talent we've currently got and go on now to try and be up here again next year. Because as far as any Reading fan will be concerned, if Reading are not up where they are now, or at least close to it, next season we'll be back to where we were and it'll be another failure. And Reading fans are so sick of it. I
do want to talk about one thing. You've spoken about potential players leaving and talents leaving, and I think one of the most noticeable ones is Michael Elise. And obviously there was this photo going round of his Instagram DMs. I don't know if it was him or there was a.
I don't know. It's an interesting one because I know there are.
Do you think he'll be on his way out? Because he is obviously a quality player, one of the best in the Championship this season. He's 19 years of age. He's got 6 months of a contract remaining, hasn't he, as well? And
no, that's not him. No? I believe he's got 18 months.
He's got 18, but still not long.
He's got. No, not very long at all. And I mean, I know the club were, I believe, looking at trying to offer him a new contract. But the issue that we've had, like a lot of clubs, coronavirus has obviously hit our finances. And the way that they've blended financial fair play, they've put this year's accounting goes into the last set as well. So we basically needed to get through last season, which is why we were down and struggling because we couldn't bring in much. To be able to then this season, hopefully have built on that. But because the financial fair play restrictions, this goes right back to a time when we had Ron Gourlay in higher up in the club and he killed the club from the inside. He was offering people contracts that the club couldn't afford long term. He was doing all sorts of things that ultimately resulted in him leaving the club. And the most kind of frustrating thing of it all, we've looked at trying to give Elise a new contract. We can't afford to. Same with Omar Richards, who, again, I believe he's all but confirmed to be leaving to go to Bayern Munich in the summer. You look at other players that we've got coming through, such as Tom Holmes, Tom McIntyre. I believe Tom McIntyre's within his last 6 months of his contract. You look at players, I mean, we just spoke about Lucas Jow. If a Premier League team comes in for him, why wouldn't he leave? If we're not in the Premier League, this is the issue. I think I'm fairly sure, I can't remember if I've said it on a previous podcast, but I know I've said it to you personally. I believe that if Reading do not get promoted this season, Elise will leave. If Reading get promoted, Elise will stay. If Reading then get relegated from the Premier League, a lot of conditionals, of course.
Yeah.
But I believe it is a case of Elise would love to play with his boyhood club in the Premier League. He's good enough to play in the Premier League now. If he can get there with his boyhood club, great. If not, I don't see why he wouldn't leave. If I was him, and if there is this alleged release clause knocking around, if Reading this year, say we finish 12th, I don't see why he wouldn't leave. Yeah. He'd be stupid to stay. He could go and get a big money move, big money sponsorships, and he could really set himself up for life. He's a young lad. He's got so much future ahead of him. He's a French. I believe he's qualified. He's qualified for the French national team. He's got some great players that he could be potentially playing with in the future. I mean, you look at how talented the France squad is currently, and then you look at how many young French players there are knocking around. He has such a huge future. And as far as I'm concerned, with our promotion hopes being over, I do have a really nasty gut feeling that this season could be the last we see of Michael Elise at Reading Football Club. It's a real shame, but
that is what it is, I guess. At the end of the day, that's the way.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But we will go on and talk about Reading's last 6 games of the season and see how will they fare. Will they be around the playoffs at that point, or will they be already out? I mean, you don't have an easy run in at all. Not one bit. No, you're Watford away. That's difficult. That's difficult on itself. Then you've got Cardiff at home, and Cardiff are absolutely flying since Mick McCarthy has come in. And I read a stat somewhere regarding their game against Bournemouth. They were, I think, 13 or 11 points off Bournemouth when Mick McCarthy took over Cardiff. Now, if Cardiff win tonight against Bournemouth, they'd be level on points. That is incredible. Since Mick McCarthy came in as well. And then you got Luton away. Luton away is never easy. It's never easy for anyone.
Well, I mean, we're as Reading fans, we're still yet to be able to do Luton away because of coronavirus, and obviously.
Norwich, but...
Yeah, but you were in the Premier League last year. We didn't get it in the Championship.
To be fair, we went there pre-season and won 5-1. So Josip Dermot scored a hat-trick as well. I was there. And then you got Swansea at home. Again, doesn't get any easier, does it? And then you've got Norwich away.
Yeah.
And then you got Huddersfield at home. So you have currently in the top 6. You have 1, 2. You're playing all the top 3 currently. Well, no, no, you're not. No, because Swansea and Brentford both. Yeah, no, forget what I said. You're playing 2 of the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me to look at these games and give you a prediction right now, well, based on how we're playing, I'd obviously be more pessimistic. I'm going to have the slight fan optimism in this, and I'm going to say at Watford, at most, I reckon we'd draw. So that's a point.
That's fair.
Cardiff at home. We really looked brilliant against them in the away leg. Obviously, they were under different management at the time. We're not great at home. They're flying. I'm going to back it and say just because we're at home, I would hope we'd win. So we'll go 4 points. And
at that point, Cardiff could always have that dip in form, which they're yet to have under Mick McCarthy, I guess. So you never know. It could happen. And then you move on to your game against Luton.
Luton away, not an easy place to go. We've already been there this season. We took our young lads. They had a stronger team out than we did. We only lost 1-0. I'd back another 3 points out of that. So that puts us on 7. I can't see us beating Swansea. I'd say a draw most out of that, 8 points. Norwich, a draw at very, very most out of that.
Yeah.
If we are lucky.
It really does depend how Norwich is doing at that point in the season. If we've already won the league, already promoted, we may not really give a shit. But... You never know. You never know. So, again, that could be in a Huddersfield last game of the season. I'm guessing you'd back your boys in that.
Yeah, I would back us. I mean, we did go 1-0 down in the away leg. We did bring it back to win 2-1. Again, this is me thinking we might start playing how we have been playing. I can't see us getting maximum points out of the last 6 games.
No, I can't see you.
I can see us losing a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... this is the point with Reading now, is they need to really kind of buck their ideas up and look it to a point where they need to be on top of it, be on top of their game and really try and get back on track. Because, like I said, the form that Reading Football Club are currently finding themselves in, as beautiful as it is to have seen my team playing in the top 6 most of the year, the way that we're going, we're not going to finish anywhere close.
That's fair enough, yeah. I fully agree. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this episode of Club by Club, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, and also go check out our socials and tickle that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos. But we shall see you later.